It's 2020 and this is the first video that's going up on my channel, my refreshed, revived channel on YouTube. And today we're going to be talking about the 5 reasons why I switched from Canon to Fujifilm cameras this winter. Well, winter 2019. Why I made the change. Let's just see what happens. So number 1 on my 5 reasons why I moved from Canon to Fujifilm cameras is the price. Now I know that when it comes to comparing the X-T3 and the X-H1 to the R and the RP, we have to remember that the R and the RP are full frame sensor cameras, whereas the X-T3 and the X-H1 are both a crop sensor body. So with that full frame performance, you should expect to get a lot better low light performance. But I would say be careful on that note, because many of the reviews and many of the prominent review sites, including places like F-Stoppers, they do critique pretty heavily the claims of low light performance for the RP in particular. I won't say the same for the R, because from what I've seen of most R use, it is a very good camera all round. But for me, what separates these 4 cameras is that price point. Now for me, I am looking for an affordable top level camera, and to me the X-T3 and the X-H1 and the R and the RP are kind of the top level of these 2 brands' mirrorless lines. But the X-T3 comes in at under £1,400 from most retailers that sell Fujifilm cameras, and the X-H1 can be picked up online for under £900. Now compare that to the Canon cameras and the R and the RP, where the R is currently on sale with Canon for just under £2,000 with their current discounts, and that also comes with the EF mount adapter, and the RP is marketed at around £1,200 after the discounts as well. So from just that alone, you can see that the X-T3, which I personally think is like the best of the Fujifilm cameras for both 4K video and stills photography, comes in at that much better price point than the R, which is Canon's, in my opinion, top level mirrorless camera. So even within that first point on price, it's already easy to see that the Fuji system is just targeted at that slightly lower price point, which really appeals to me and to many other shooters as well. Now there are loads of advantages to, let's say, to buying that R for about £2,000, but for me it's just not worth it to bump up that extra £600 compared to the Fuji system that you can get for £1,400. Okay, point number 2 on my reasons why I moved from Canon to Fuji is the images themselves. Now all cameras, whether that's DSLRs or mirrorless, are going to perform really well in 2020 when it comes to raw images. If you're working with raw files, you're always going to be able to pull back a lot of detail and a lot of information from those photos. But what I really love about the Fuji system is that they really perform well in both the RAW and JPEG arenas. Fujifilm cameras come with a myriad of sort of profiles built in to allow you to shoot amazing JPEGs, and also to preview those JPEGs straight from before you even shoot the shot. Shoot the shot, what a great line. Before you even shoot the shot, you get to see what your photo is going to look like, and I'd say 9 out of 10 times those JPEGs are crisp, they are clean, and they always look how you think they're going to end up looking. But I say, when it comes to RAW formatting, I find that the Fuji files are just great to work with. They retain so much detail, a lot of information. You're able to pull back a lot from low light situations and low light photos. And from what I've seen of the most closely competitively priced Canon, which is the RP, you just don't get that same level of performance, even with that full frame sensor. So for me, number 2 is the images themselves. For me, number 3 is the bodies themselves. These cameras are just gorgeous. They have such an amazing styling, and I just love the tactility of the camera bodies themselves. The shutter dial and the ISO dial, the aperture rings on most of their lenses, it's just such a good experience all round. So you get the fun side of being able to snap some great images, but you also just get the fun of being able to just play with the camera and see what different settings do. In a world where cameras are moving so much to function keys and assignable buttons, it's so nice to have a camera which is still dedicated to having those specific dials and rings for different functions of the camera. It helps you to stay on top of your photography game, and also allows you to keep learning and growing and developing and realizing what those changes are doing. But yeah, so as I say, point number 3 is just the styling and feel of this camera. Reason number 4 is the niches and subjects of Fuji photographers online and in print. What I've observed over the last few years through Instagram and through different forums is that there's a real community of Fuji users who are dedicated to certain art forms, including street photography, portraiture, and sort of a wedding and event style of shooting. And for me, that's really appealing because my favorite subject to shoot is people. I did many years as an event photographer at university, and I love just being able to capture those moments. And so to be part of a community and a culture which is so focused on those different areas and has such a wealth and a well of knowledge is really useful to buy into. I'm not saying that if you really like a photographer, you should find out what gear they use and just shoot exactly the same stuff they do. But what I do think you should do is observe why they're using those cameras. I think many of the benefits for people in street photography and in like weddings and portraiture is that that small body, that light body, that electronic shutter, which performs so well, and just that compact nature of the Fuji systems. Unless you're looking at the GFX, which is quite a big boy, really. That compact nature of the Fuji cameras is really what those shooters are looking for, and it's the reason why so many people have turned to Fuji for those particular niches. So number 4 on my list of reasons is those niche communities and those niche areas that Fuji seems to dominate in lots of ways. And the 5th and final point on why I moved from Canon to Fuji is really the most important, which is that I just love the cameras themselves. I've been using Fuji cameras for the last year and 3 months, and starting with the X-T1, the X-T2, and a bit of the X-H1. And I just really fell in love with the system. I had been a Canon fanboy for most of my life, always dreaming of 5D Mark IVs or 1DX Mark IIs. I'm not saying that I don't think those cameras are great. I do think they are incredible cameras. But what I love about the Fuji system is just all of those unique points, the lightness, the styling, the price point is a big draw because they make fantastic optics and fantastic lenses as well at a very competitive price. And I think it just took somebody sitting me down and sort of talking me through their process, moving away from Canon to Fuji, and giving me the opportunity to actually try out those cameras to really realize that a lot of that thought process around why I love Canon was really just because of popular culture and what other people were shooting and just the view of it being this elite brand. And I'm not trying to bash on Canon. Canon make fantastic cameras. I think the EOS R line is going to be incredible. I think in the years to come, it's going to expand to something that is going to draw a lot of people back into the Canon system. But for now, for me, the Fuji cameras are just the ones I love, and that is why I've purchased the X-T3 in the most recent winter sales that they've had on, because it really just fit all of my needs, and because of those other 4 points around the price, the images themselves, the community, and the styling of the body, that along with just the fact that I love shooting them, means that I decided to switch over from Canon to Fuji. So there you have it, those are the 5 reasons I switched. Let me know in the comments below if you've been considering changing from different camera brands, whether it's the same process I took or a different set of cameras. Let me know below. And if you did like the video, please remember to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel for future updates, and I'll see you throughout 2020. Happy New Year!